Hi folks, Harry Frank from Red Giant here. In this tutorial, I'd like to show you Spot Blur from Red Giant Universe. Spot Blur is essentially what you would call a compound blur effect. Compound blur applies a blur effect using another image, an external image, either from another layer or some other source, and it uses that map, usually it's luminance or sometimes it's alpha channel, to determine how much blur is being applied to your image. So it's not a mask, it's actually varying the blur across the image. And it can be a little bit tricky and just not one of those effects that you can go to quickly and do some cool stuff with because you have to set up in multiple layers. So the idea behind Spot Blur is to create a compound blur effect that builds into the plugin the things that you might normally do inside another composition. The blur size is the maximum amount it will blur. What the plugin is doing is creating its own compound blur map using a shape that we choose here. You can use either an ellipse or a rectangle, and we can actually show that mask using the show mask feature, so you can see that red area right here. So we have a width and height control, and we can rotate it like so. So this is really cool to use on text. You can use it as sort of a transitional kind of thing. So if I bring this width up and bring up the height, and we can do a really nice sort of text reveal using a blur effect. So let's just have this animate a little bit over time, and I'll move this position down. So there we have a really nice compound blur effect without having to use external layers and pre-comps and all that kind of stuff. Also works really well on footage, especially if you use the invert feature, which takes the map that we're feeding it and inverts it and blurs everything outside of the area. We can create really interesting depth of field effects or lens effects simply by inverting it and adjusting the height and width like so. And that about covers it. That's Spot Blur from Red Giant Universe. My name's Harry Frank. Thank you so much for watching.